Redemption story, take one. You gotta sin to get saved. That's what Maria McKee of Lone Justice said. Tonight on the Heaven's Metal Show, I've got a story of redemption, but it's gonna start off kinda ugly. So this story is a story that it's about me when I was in the 7th grade. I had a history class. The teacher's name was Mr. Lilly. He was one of those teachers that was, seems like he probably did something in the civil rights movement, might have been involved in government at some point. He taught history, and Mr. Lilly was just awesome. He just seemed to have a lot of character to him. Big guy, kind of crusty. He looked a little bit like John Wayne. But in Mr. Lilly's class, there was a girl who sat in front of me, and I'm going to call her Sophie. And Sophie wore a beautiful dress to school one day. It was like a silky kind of dress and had flowery print on it. And according to Mr. Lilly, she was not very rich, and having this dress was like a big deal for her. So anyway, this day that she wore the fancy dress, I had some chewing gum, and I bet you can see where this is going. I stuck my gum on her seat when she was up, and she sat down on it, and it stuck to her dress. Apparently it ruined her dress, and she was very upset by it, told Mr. Lilly about it, and Mr. Lilly scheduled a parent conference. And so my mom and I came into Mr. Lilly's classroom after hours, and I said, I didn't do it. And my mom stood up for me, and she said, if Doug says he didn't do it, then he didn't do it. And Mr. Lilly was like shaking his head like between a rock and a hard place. There's not a whole lot he could do at that point, but he said, he emphasized that I'd done something really terrible to this girl that did not deserve it, that she was of poor income, having a nice dress was a big deal for her, and I callously and foolishly and like a punk jerk ruined her dress. So here I am. I'm confessing that I actually did it. I lied about it and got away with it. So fast forward 2 or 3 decades, and with the advent of the internet and my guilt weighing upon me, I thought, I bet I can find Sophie on the internet. And sure enough, I was able to contact this girl, and I said, I don't know if you remember me, but one day in Mr. Lilly's history class, I put a piece of gum on your chair and it ruined your dress. And she remembered, and she asked me, why did you do that? And I didn't have a good answer for her. The only answer was that I was a punk and a jerk. And I said, if you would please forgive me and allow me to buy you a new dress, I would really appreciate it. And she said, well, I would prefer if you bought me a gift card at one of my favorite stores so I could pick out the dress myself. I said, sure. And I did that. I sent her a gift card. So, you know, praise God that there was actually an opportunity way too late and decades later, but a way to actually put hands and feet in some sort of physical redemption to a horrible act. And so that's the story I wanted to tell. I'm not awesome for doing that. In fact, I'm horrible for doing what I did, but I'm very grateful for the fact that I had a chance to make some restitution. It reminds me of in South Africa when apartheid was finally crushed. They had days of truth and reconciliation where people were able to stand up in a city public venue and speak out about persecution, trouble, racism, systematic racism, and injustice that they face, many times at the hands of the accuser who was in the room. And the accusers had a chance to come up and apologize and make restitution. And so that was like, a lot of times you think government separates church and state. Well, this was an opportunity and an event where religion and church intersected with state and did a very beautiful thing. It was called forgiveness and reconciliation and redemption. So anyway, there's a story for this week. Join the discussion. Thanks.